welcome to another episode. My name is Dean Vassy. You can find me on X at hashtag Kangas, Instagram hashtag Kangaroos podcast. Tonight, I'm back with dual premiership player and star on the wing in the AFLW team, Tess Craven. Welcome to the show. Tess, you're still on a high after the game that happened, like you even said off air, a few weeks ago now, but it seems like a long time ago. But yeah, you still must be on a high.
Yeah, I think it's sort of at the stage where you're just going about your business and then you remember again. It just comes out of nowhere, and I find myself going through, North's Instagram just to see it all again and watch it all unfold. I don't know how many times I watch the highlights, but yeah, it's sort of at that sort of like it hits you every now and again sort of stage. So yeah, definitely still riding that high.
Well, I mean, I suppose, like, it's not just the grand final, it's the whole year we're talking about as well. Like, I mean, is it a bit surreal that you not only won every game, but you had a percentage north of 300%, which is unheard of in any sort of AFL competition. I mean, I followed, North Melbourne in the 90s, Geelong in the 2000s. I mean, this surpasses any of those teams. I mean, it must be a bit of a surreal feeling looking back on it.
Yeah, sort of. Like, I think going into the year, winning the flag was obviously our goal again, and we didn't see any reason why we couldn't replicate, obviously, 2024. But I think I maybe mentioned this last year when we chatted around this time last year, just about like our process is so non-focused on the result, and maybe that's a
Yeah.
privilege because of where we're at. We don't have to worry about we don't have to be overly concerned with our results because we do keep winning. But yeah, I think even though we did win every game, there were games where we won by, I want to say, like, we won by 70 points or whatever, and then we kind of treated it as a loss because we didn't play how we wanted to play. And that was really important for us to keep, our standards up and to keep performing to the level we knew we were capable of, and not just, sit on our haunches and just be okay with like a pass mark, because that doesn't win you premierships. So yeah, I think we kind of
Yeah.
looked independently of results. Yeah, but it obviously, yeah, that's a great achievement. I'm sure we'll reflect on that many years from now.
Yeah, I was going to actually talk about the process a little bit later, and I was going to mention that you girls really seem to be focused process on the process. I know even after the gaming interviews, and won games, like you said, by 70 points, and you talked to. I know you've been interviewed a couple of times with Darren Crocker, and you've sort of said, "Oh, there's been periods of the game where it hasn't been on our terms, but when we've had it on our terms, we've done pretty well." It seems like like you're not really like. I know there's some individual talent, Jasmine Garner, Ash Riddell. We can go on and on about the individual talent, but you don't really worry about that. No, like when things go against you, girls, or if you feel like you're not on top of the game and you're not playing, you're playing a defensive half a game for a quarter. That if you stick with the process, everything else just takes care of itself. You really are process driven, aren't you, you girls?
Yeah, I think we definitely are, and I think that comes from Croc a lot, and just our whole staff and coaching group down, but obviously led by Croc. Um, we've always been very process driven. We just haven't had the results to back it up. I'd say,
Mm.
and obviously the last couple of years everything's just kind of clicked where we've refined our process enough to where it's getting us results we need, and it's just second nature to all of us now, where we can sort of tell what to do in the right moment and things like that. And I think that comes out in games with some really big moments. But undoubtedly, there's incredible individual talent with Ash and Jamin, but they lead the way in being process driven. They never let it be about them for more than a second. Even Ash, you would have seen in a post when she won the best and fairest, the first ever best and fairest for North Melbourne. Somehow, no offense to Ash, just with poor Jamin, but even in her post, she just immediately went back to bigger fish to fry on Saturday, because
Yeah.
they're for the team, they're for the process. Um, and Croc always says, when you play for the team, and you keep the team in your focus, then usually individual accolades come as part of that because you start playing your best footy. And I guess that was sort of the case there. But yeah, I certainly don't take for granted playing with such talented athletes for sure. But you wouldn't know it if you spoke to them. That's for sure.
Oh no! Look, I've spoken to those girls individually, and I know even a couple of times I've spoken to Jamin, and she's very quick to deflect about herself. She's very always talking about the team, and you get that with Ash Riddell as well. So yeah, they're just happy to play their role. They know their natural talent will come through eventually, but they just want to play a role for the team, like each individual plays their role for like yourself and everyone else. So and it makes a big difference. And yeah, the results certainly have taken care of themselves. The last couple of years definitely have. Now, we're certainly going to talk more about the season, but we had a club announcement late Thursday. I think it was early Thursday afternoon last week, and that was the retirement of Premiership teammate Sarah Wright. Now, I've had Sarah Wright on a few times, and I couldn't say a bad thing about her. But just not only tell the listeners what type of character and person Sarah Wright is.
Alrighty. Gonna miss that girl, but I think she retires as the Premiership hero that she was last year for sure. And I personally really look at her journey as one that I can really learn from, because when I first got to the club, she wasn't getting games, and she bought in and she worked hard and she played for the team to the point where it got a third place best and fairest and should have been All Australian last year. So yeah, I just think from that perspective, I really look up to her. But she's a quiet achiever. She definitely just does her own thing, but that's what we love about her. She's an individual. She's unique. She doesn't love the attention. She just wants to have her time, have her space. And I think that's something that's so great about our team is we really have a bunch of individuals who are very, for lack of a better word, can be strange and unique. But I think the environment we have at the club really brings out the best in everyone while allowing them to still be themselves. And yeah, I think I'm so happy for Heidi. I'm going to miss her a lot. It's such a shame that she's not going to be with us anymore. But yeah, she's left a legacy that hopefully we can follow in the next couple of years for sure.
Oh, definitely. And I feel like her best games in her career were her last two games. I mean, you mentioned a grand final, and I think she was pretty close to best on ground in the grand final in the first half. She intercepted everything, didn't she?
Yeah, well, I think thinking back to that year, I think the level she just went to, obviously in that grand final, but I just think all year she got involved up the ground. She became one of our best marking defenders, and it just elevated us as a team. And it really came out in that grand final for sure. Yeah, watching, I've watched the replay and the highlights, however many times. And Righty always pops up, just the right place, right time, makes the right decisions. And yeah, she's really footy smart. So yeah.
No, it definitely was. And yeah, probably played the best football in her last couple of years. As she was aging, I mean, she's still very young as far as football goes, but obviously has other issues she wants to pursue. Is there a fondest memory you have of her, or something you could share that is maybe PG rated? Nothing too out there.
Oh goodness. Oh my goodness me.
Right. I'll probably put you on the spot there. So
a little bit, but oh goodness. Jeeves, I didn't see. The shame is I didn't see a lot of her this year because she was taking some time away from the club. So it's quite a while ago to think of now. Wow, you have put me on the spot here. Oh, this is PG-ish, but
that's all right. That's fine.
She I don't remember anything she said, but after the best and fairest last year, we went back to Ash's house, and out of nowhere, Righty, who's like very quiet, doesn't like attention, doesn't like speaking up, just gets up in front of everyone and demands everyone listens for a speech. And I don't know what the speech. It went for a little bit, but just this random speech after winning the third best. But like, she looked so happy, and it was such a funny random moment of just like what are you doing? This is so out of character, but we love it anyway. So I'll go with that. I think I have a video on my phone somewhere of what she said, but I could not remember for the life of me. But there were little moments where Righty would like peek out of her shell that, were the ones that I think we'll remember the most.
Yeah, and was once dubbed Miss December by a fellow teammate in the back line after the grand final last year. So that might have. Yeah, of course. Yeah, just on celebrations after the big one. Are some of the girls still celebrating? I did see you girls were in the Gold Coast for the end of season trip.
We were, yep. Last weekend. Yep.
Yeah. Fergie still best on ground after the grand final.
She's not human. I don't. She credit to her, but that's not for me, man. But as long as she's having fun, that's fine. You have your fun. But she also no. But credit to her, she organizes all of our social events, and she organizes Footy Trip to the letter. Like, she makes all the bookings. She tells us where to be, tells us how much to pay. And for 30, almost 30 girls, that's a headache. And she does it every year. And she can be a little bit a bit dictatory about it, but it gets us to good places, and it means we all have a lot of fun. So let her, off the leash, let her have fun.
Yeah, 100%. And it's good to, like you sort of said, it's good to have those sorts of characters that are a bit different, like people that you wouldn't be like or anything like that. Like, it's good to have those out there type of personalities. She's definitely good value. Very nice girl too. I've had her on the show a few times, and just making that full back position her own. So full credit to her and she's always talking about her teammates as well. So she's always praising them and talking them up. Now, Tess, we'll get into something a little bit more semi-serious here. Our biggest challenge probably came in the prelim, and we were 6 points down at three-quarter time. I'm curious to know what the message was from Crocs. And as an individual, did you start to have doubts that maybe this might not go our way?
Hindsight, I would say no, never. But I think probably about three-quarter time, I was like, right, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I haven't been nervous all year. I'm nervous now. But I almost think a bit of defiance came along with that. And that's, I think a lot of people said before the grand final, after we'd won the prelim, that prelim, how hard we had to fight we had to play our best footy against a really, really good side in Melbourne to get into the granny. I think that was the best prep for us that we could have asked for, because, while I did speak about how we're not results focused, we're process driven and everything, there's a little bit inside of you in that, if you're up by 60 points or whatever, you aren't going to play to the same level of if you need to win. That's just human physiology. That's you can't
reality.
You can't escape that. That's just reality. So it was a good challenge. It was a really good challenge, I think. But the pleasing thing is that when we were losing, we actually just weren't playing very good football, and we knew that. We weren't playing our brand of football, and I think that's sometimes pleasing, is that when things aren't going our way, whether it be in the Melbourne game for pretty much three quarters, or other periods in other games, it's because we're not playing how we know we need to be playing. It's not like we're trying absolutely everything and giving it our 100% all, and it's not working and we have no idea what to do. We do know what to do. We're just not executing it. And I think that's what Croc's message was. Every break really was the same message, and our team defense wasn't up to it. And we'd been practicing most of the week on it, and we weren't delivering. And there was the same message pretty much quarter time, half time, three-quarter time. And it just for some reason, we just clicked into gear in the third quarter. So yeah, that's good with Croc. He's really, well, is he succinct? Maybe not the right word, but he is at least he has an answer. He's never lost he never knows not what Sorry, he never doesn't know what to do. So he had the answer for us. He had the answer for us from the first quarter. We just weren't delivering, and yeah, we're just happy that it all clicked for us. We all clicked into gear as we should have in the last quarter.
And that's I guess that's the most important thing. Is do you feel like you almost felt like a message there was maybe we were match hardened, maybe having the week off, maybe not getting challenged in the first final against Hawthorn. Although, I mean, they weren't too bad, but it was a different level to Melbourne. I think Melbourne was probably the best team. It looked like the best team we've played all year. So, do you feel like that was part of the problem? It was just like maybe having a week off and, they just weren't match hardened, or was it maybe we're not giving Melbourne enough credit?
Maybe not. I don't think not match hardened. I think maybe I don't want to say we didn't give Melbourne credit. I think we probably did, but it was just another kettle of fish. Like, we just had never played them before this year. We hadn't played them since round 3 the year before, and they were a very different side with injuries and everything that time. So yeah, it was just a like different beast that we hadn't played before, and they play a lot like us, whereas I think how certain teams play kind of feed into how we play, and that's why we win by so much against certain teams, I think. And I think Melbourne were not complementary to how we play. They kind of brought what we're good at to us, and we didn't respond accordingly. So yeah, I think combination of factors. The week off probably didn't help that. It didn't help not playing them in the year. And they're just a really quality side. So they're very skillful. And yeah, they took what we gave them, to be honest. We didn't defend hard enough, but yeah, all switched on eventually, which is the good thing.
And that's the most important thing. I mean, like you sort of said, you stick with the process and eventually it will turn. Like, I know, speaking to a few people, and I spoke to a few people going into the game, that they felt extra nervous, the supporters, going into a prelim rather than the grand final, because there's not a second chance. Whereas during the season, you play a game. If you lose, all right, you can go back next week. Whereas in the prelim, like maybe Melbourne felt like, well, we've got nothing to lose here. We're playing a team that we're expected to lose. We're paying $10 on Sportsbet. Did you feel extra nervous on an individual level? You can't speak on everyone. Did you feel extra nervous going to the prelim as opposed to the grand final, maybe?
Yeah, I did for sure. Me and Ash actually before the game were speaking about how much we hate the prelim, because you can't plan your week, because afterwards, like, you don't want to assume you're in the grand final already. But then you don't know when you're training, and you don't know what your week's going to look like. You don't know if we're going to have like Mad Monday the next Monday, or if we're going to have it in a week's time. Like it's silly, obviously, but it is that sort of element of you. I sort of put it in the words of, like, if we make it to the grand final and lose, we've still made it to the end of the year. Like, everyone's season ends that day. That's the longest the season could go for. So I think, and probably given, how our year had gone to that point, like unbeaten record, not really challenged by whatever, all that, it was just sort of like, imagine if we didn't make the grand final. Like, imagine if we fell now. And I think as much as we tried not to, that probably seeped into our mindset a little bit. But then I think that also brought out, when we were maybe presented with the reality of, like, this might happen as the game went on, I think it sort of brought out that defiance, and people just stood up and made sure we got there.
Showed a tremendous amount of resilience by the group to face that adversity at three-quarter time, when Melbourne did probably dominate that forward half game in the third quarter. I'm sure there would have been doubts. That's just human nature at the end of the day, but managed to find a way. Now, you talked about a lot of teams and how they approach games. Now, I watched a few games, and it felt like there were some teams that you jumped them at the start, and it felt like they thought, well, we've got no hope. We're just going to sit players behind the ball and not even going to try and score. Is that a fair reflection on some teams, that they almost went into self-preservation mode and thinking we're just trying to minimise the damage?
You're trying to get me in trouble.
No. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, I do think so. This is no.
Because I certainly felt it watching it at the game and talking to people at the game. They
Yeah,
said the similar sort of message.
This is no offense to Hawthorn, but they were the ones that come to mind. It was actually in play. I remember hearing their runner, because me and Ash were like, I think me and Ash had just been involved in a play, and we were like running together to the fall or whatever, and we heard their runner say like 2 behind the ball or something, and Ash actually responded in the moment and said, "Do you guys want to score?" Like, I think that was a strange strategy given it was a final, because like.
Yeah, you got to score to win games, and they didn't kick a goal.
It's weird. Like at that point, they didn't kick a goal for the game. Like that was a strange strategy. But yeah, I think certain teams did do that. I mean, we would adopt a similar sort of stance if we were in that position too. So I don't blame them. But I think where maybe we come out on top when we do that is we do it with our system. So it doesn't, like, we have sort of like game modes we can go into when we have a +1 behind the ball, and stuff like that, was I think just chucking numbers straight behind the ball for us. If we're playing how we should play, that shouldn't stop us. But obviously, like, things are wrong and we don't enter 450 as we would like. But yeah, I did notice it, but I can't really blame those teams because I'm sure we would do the same in their position as well.
Does it give you confidence seeing that in the opposition, that they're almost reactive rather than proactive? Like, it's not a bad way to be. Like, even when I play cricket and I play against a batsman that blocks a ball, I'd rather play against that than a guy that's trying to, hit it out the park all the time because you don't know where to put the field and so forth.
I don't know how reactive. Yeah, I guess, but like, I would imagine at some point they would prepare for the scenario where they would need to put people behind the ball. So there is an element of proactivity to it as well. But I don't think I really notice, to be honest. If I'm playing, I'm probably just trying to keep my head screwed on, play my role, get up and back. And I don't think I really noticed so much. Maybe against the Hawks, it was a little bit more noticeable because I turned my head and we had like 3-4 defenders on their own. But yeah, so there's sometimes where that, that comes about. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it really influences me. We try not to let what the opposition do influence us too much.
No, well said. Spoken like a true veteran, almost someone that's almost 22 years old. Anyways, we'll go to the grand final, and even though it was a 40-point margin, it seemed fairly comfortable. I actually don't think the Lions probably deserve to lose by that much. How did you see the contest?
In comparison to the year before, I thought this game, I felt more confident in this game, in this year. I don't really know why. I just don't think there was any point where I was worried. Like, I just and I'm not even sure I can explain why, but there wasn't really a time where I thought we're in trouble here. Even when they kicked the first goal, I was like, well, like, first goal is like, as someone who's kicked a first goal, doesn't actually mean anything. Like, we're lucky last year it's, kick-started us, I guess. But the year before, Jamin kicked the first goal and we lost. Like, it doesn't mean anything, really. So they're a quality team. They really are. I think some of their players had an off night, which helped us. But I also think we were on, and I think maybe that came from the week before. It was really like hard-fought game. I think that brought us in really ready. But yeah, I don't think I was really nervous at any stage.
No, I felt like the supporters were pretty similar. I know, look, in saying that, probably first quarter and a bit, they had a lot more inside 50s, Brisbane. They probably played a forward half game. But I felt like that 100-metre penalty was a little bit of a momentum changer. Did you girls speak about that at all, or did you see that as well?
I was on the bench. I was on the bench right where it happened, and we were like screaming, like, "That's 100 meters. That's another one. That's another one." Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, especially in the W. So yeah, for it to happen when we were under so much pressure, it did really. I think it gave us that little momentum change that I think probably that I have trust would have happened regardless of
Yeah.
whether there was a penalty or not. But yeah, it certainly helps when you go from halfback flank to the goal square. So yeah, I can only imagine what Croc would say if one of us did that.
Yeah, I probably don't want to imagine that, but yeah, I mean, it was actually good for Kate Shearer to get that because I felt like she was on the rough end of the stick this year a lot of times with the umpiring. I felt like she was getting scragged a lot in the forward half.
She would agree. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually good that she was able to get that, and just that veteran move and veteran presence to not only be content with getting a 50 meter, but knew how to what the rules were, and to get an extra 50 meters and get 100 meters all up to make a certain goal. Yeah, very smart play by the wily veteran. Yourself in the game, and you had 17 disposals, 5 tackles, 391 metres gained on the wing, second best for the team. A beautiful handball and goal assist to Eilish Sheeran as well. You must have been very happy with your contribution in the game.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know whether like my dad sort of was saying that I'd played well or whatever, but I probably was completely not thinking about that. I think it's a funny thing that I'm going to try and take into when we play like regular season games. But in my head, I was just thinking there's no review next week. Like either way, there's no review. There's no individual review. There's no team review. There's nothing. So if I make a mistake, I just need to get rid of it. Like what's the point in looking at it? No one's going to look at it. Do you know what I mean? And I think sometimes I can be a bit nervous about like, is that going to come up in a review? What's Croc going to have to say about that? Yada, yada, yada. Because I'm a bit of an anxious person and I tend to overthink. So yeah, I don't know. I was pleased, like when I was getting the ball, I was pleased that I could contribute for the team, obviously, on such a momentous occasion. And yeah, I was honestly just happy to be on the field when we won, to be honest.
No, good on you. Just explain, just a quick explanation. Like you sort of said, I'm pretty nervous about the reviews. Is that just because you feel like I don't want to get criticism? I don't like criticism, or when you do get the reviews, or is it just your personality? You feel like I don't want to be found out for doing something wrong.
No, I don't. I think we all kind of love criticism. I think, especially in our group,
they're constructive,
constructive, but it's just feedback. Like it's like in any workplace, you get feedback on how you perform, and it's not personal. It's just to make the team better. And I've had my fair share of feedback over the years from Croc and many coaches, because that's just how you get better. And especially with our club, like I completely trust that Croc is doing it for the betterment of the team and for the betterment of me as a footballer. But I just think like I hate this sense of like if I've done something that's let the team down, or I've done something that hasn't resulted in something good for the team. Like, and that's never my intention, but sometimes, you have brain fades in the moment, or you just aren't thinking clearly, or whatever. Never intentional, but just sometimes it's just like that. Oh, like sometimes if we make a mistake, we're like, that's going to be in the review on the week during the week. Like it's just a bit of a thing. And I think because I'm a bit of an overthinker naturally, I probably worry about, viewing my mistakes later, but I'm trying to embrace that, and I'm trying to get used to it and accept it and move on, which I think is probably a big part of how I've been able to perform a bit more consistently this year.
I think it gets easier the more experience you get as well, as you get a bit of a hold ahead. You probably stress more about it now than you probably did in your first or second year, and so forth. So it just comes with experience. Yeah, like you said, it's just one of those things. And it tends to happen. I'm an overthinker myself as well. So, yeah, it just comes, sometimes you can't help it. That's just part of it. Just going back to the grand final, when in your head did you think, I mean, you're pretty confident, no, but when did you think, we're 100% certain that we've got them here, back to back it is?
I was feeling good when I think it was, last year's scoreline was 39-9 at the end. And I think it was like 30-8 at halftime. And I was like, wow, like at halftime I was like, gee, we're in a better spot than last year. Like we are like not coasting, but I was like this feels good, this feels right. Like obviously keep the foot on the pedal, but I feel like we're on the right track here. But I think the moment was when Jamin kicked that goal at the start of the fourth. Yep. I think that
Yeah,
was the moment I was like, I think if I was them and if I was in their position, I would probably think like just get the first goal of the quarter. And I think for a couple of quarters in a row we did instead. And so when Jamin kicked it, I was like, yeah, I think we might be home here.
yeah. I thought we were home as soon as she got the ball because I knew where that ball was going.
Yeah,
It was a terrible pass. I can't remember who the defender was, but you couldn't have picked a worse person on the field. Maybe yourself, you would have kicked it yourself, or Bella Eddie. But yeah, yeah. If you're going to turn it over, maybe don't turn it over to
yeah,
the goat in itself. So, but yeah, that's probably when I thought. Because even before that, you're probably thinking if everything goes right for Brisbane here and everything goes wrong for North, then they might be a 5% chance, but that pretty much put the nail in the coffin. Now, during the course of the year, we certainly had our challenges. We had a lot of injuries during the year. It tested our depth, but we found some gems. Amy Gavin Mangan looks like she's going to be a player. Tessa Boyd established herself in the back half when we had a few injuries. Eliza Shannon came into the team, cemented a spot. I guess the biggest inclusions were Blahin Bogue, who capped off her first season with North Australian Blazer, and Eilish Sheeran, who proved her worth in the finals with just having that big body in heat of the contest and getting the best on ground medal in the granny. Tell me about those individuals and the worth they bring to the club, not just on the field, but maybe off the field as well.
yeah. I think that's something that's a challenge we haven't really had before is having to recover from so many injuries and fill so many spots. Um, yeah, our program is such a high level that we don't usually have so many injuries. But things just didn't really go our way this year, and that's okay. That's football. That's going to happen. But it really allowed some individuals to have a chance to shine and show that they belong at this level. So yeah, obviously, Blah and Ed Sheeran. I went on record. There's I don't remember which interview I did, but someone asked who do I think is going to have a good year or break out or whatever, and I said Blah. Just because I remember when I first saw her come out last year, where I was like, she's as soon as she figures out what's going on, like she'll be really good, and she proved me right because she's just like she's very speedy and very athletic. But I think because she just got the knack of the game, she just pops up in the right spots and is super super skillful. Like she's figured her way around that Aussie rules footy really quickly. And yeah, so I think it's just melded really well with her natural skill set that comes from playing Gaelic. Um, and yeah, with speed like that, it's hard to match. And so I'm really pleased for her. Obviously, all Australian, and I'm not surprised at all. What she our leading goal kicker as well, or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for that to be your first year, I'm so very pleased for her. But I'm also not that surprised because I knew she really wanted it and she was working really hard. So I'm really happy for her that it came out how it did. And yeah, Ed. I think we all know how good she is. Obviously, two-time Australian, two-time runner-up best and fairest at Richmond to Moni Conti. So like, you know,
Yeah.
if you don't have a Mon Conti, she's probably winning. But she's such a professional the way she goes about it. She does every type of recovery possible. She has an energy healer. Um, she does what's it called? Not cryo, the oxygen chamber. What's that called? Um,
Hyperbaric
that's the one. She
chamber.
does that
Yeah.
all the time. She's the ultimate professional. And so I think given her hamstring injury, which she has a history of, for her to come out in the finals and like high pressure prelim, high pressure grand final, and come out and perform is again not that surprising. But I'm just super pleased for her that all her hard work came out on those two important days. She really embraced, she got moved around roles throughout the year. She played back, she played wing, she played in the mid. And she just embraced every role and just put her all into it and didn't complain for a second. And so for her to play, mid, which wasn't her original position with us, in those two finals and perform as she did, speaks to her attitude as a person and as an athlete. I've realized that I've chatted quite a long time, but yeah, Tessa and AGM, Tessa's attitude, she played most of the year and then didn't play finals, but you wouldn't know it with how you spoke to her and stuff. And she's waited since she was last on the list in 2019, and now 2025 it's her first chance on a list, and to play how she played. I keep saying I'm so pleased, but I really am. I love all these girls, and I'm just so pleased for, especially Tessa, to get the chance to show that she deserves to be at this level, and Lies as well. Last year would have been so hard. I've spoken to her about it a bit, just how she dealt with it. Because like anyone, we would be absolutely crushed if that happened to us. But she never let it phase her. She cracked straight back in. She's worked really, really hard on her decision-making and her skills. And it's kept her in the team this year, and not only in the team, but a really important part of our team with Righty not playing as well. I think she gave that intercept defender. She embraced that intercept defender role that we were missing without Righty. And yeah, I'm so happy for her. She can take a deep breath and relax. She made it, and she got the premiership she deserved. And then AGM as well. I think raw talent is just coming through with her. She did play on the wing one game, and I had to spend a fair bit of time telling her where to go and where to stand. But that's so to be expected. Like, my goodness, if I had just started playing football this year, I would struggle a bit too. But again, attitude is so important, and she embraces what she doesn't know and works really hard to learn it. And I think similar to Blah, her natural skill set that comes from Gaelic is really complementary to AFL. And that's why she's she kicked a couple of goals this year. And her speed obviously is such an asset as well. Just got to teach them both how to bounce, and then we'll be right. But yeah, again, and she is such a lovely girl, and I can't wait to see what she can do, as she has another preseason under her belt like Blah did.
Well, there might be a question about the Irish girls and how they bounce a little bit later on. And with Eliza Shannon, obviously Flash was out for the whole year as well. So Nicole Bresnahan, so she had to, play an important role, and played on kept Chloe Malloy scoreless as well during the course of the year. It was kicking goals for fun at one point. So very underrated player, that's for sure. Obviously, you mentioned about Eliza Shannon missing out last year. How tough would it have been on Mia King to miss out? Because we all know that she is one of the best mids in the comp when she's playing. It sounded like she was ready to go in the grand final as well.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Hey, I spent a lot of time in the lead up just chatting to Mia and trying to build up her confidence and just be there for her, because it was such a shocking situation for her to be in, for the coaching staff to be in. It was just pretty impossible situation, really, given how we were performing as a team, and meaning that someone would have to come out for Mia, but then how Mia was training and what we know Mia can do, you don't want to say no to that in a grand final. But yeah, it must have been so tough for her. I tried my best to be there for her, but I can only imagine what sort of pain she would have been feeling. I know in her heart she thought she was ready, and she was training really well. But I think Croc's decision was just one that he saw was the best for the team. And I don't know what I would have done in his situation either. So it's just one of those impossible situations, and he chose that option. I hope Mia knows that just because of that, we absolutely love her. We love what she brings, and she's such an important part of the team. And it was just unlucky this one time. But yeah, it's so hard. Croc had such a difficult decision to make. And I guess I'm also sort of glad that it didn't cost us in the end,
Of course.
But yeah.
It's a lose-lose situation, no matter which way you went. Probably a little bit underdone. Missed 6 weeks. I think it was coming up to 7 or something like that. So, Yeah, and look, I talked about it during the week with Claire Cosy and Jacinta, and sort of said, I don't know what they're going to do here. Like, I had no idea, but yeah, and it sounds like it was the right choice, as probably hard as it is for someone to miss out. As yeah, the cat comes on your lap. Now, individually, let's talk about your season this year and your fifth season in the system, up to 55 games now, so that's stuck up. Average 15 disposals per game, up from 11.5 the year before, 3.1 tackles per game, up from 2.5. Every stat was up, 271 metres a game per game, up from 200. You would have to be happy with your season. I mean, you did improve a lot, just judging by the metrics there.
Sorry, I'm laughing at him.
Okay.
This is Judge. He's just going to sit. He might just sit on the lap, or he might walk.
Judge, interesting name.
Yeah, the shelter picked it, not me.
Okay. Fair enough.
Get out of here. All right. Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm very happy. I think I started performing to the level that I've always wanted to perform at, really. I think my biggest focus or biggest desire has always been to just continually contribute for the team in the best way I can. And for me, it's like certain players, like it's going to be their tackle pressure, and it's going to be their physicality, it's going to be their marking and stuff. And while all those are important for everyone, for me to most benefit the team, it's probably best for me to use my skills. And in order to get to more contests and stuff, I'd had to get fitter and all that. But overall, my mindset was just I want to be contributing consistently to the team. And I think I did do that this year. I think I showed my teammates that they can rely on me to make the right decisions. And yeah, to say that I got to play every game in this premiership winning side that didn't lose a game, is such an incredible thing that I just never thought I would ever achieve in my life. I didn't even begin to think it was attainable. But to also play like pretty well or play to a standard that I'm happy with is another thing as well. So yeah, pretty stoked with the year, but just getting started at the same time.
No, definitely. I remember your first game. I went at Arden Street against Geelong.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You're this little girl playing on a half-forward flank.
Hey.
No, you did all right. You did all right. We won a game that day, so yeah. No, nothing wrong with that. No. So. But yeah, you come a long way since then. That's for sure. So now, end of season review. I don't know if you've had that with the coaching staff yet, or is it just like you worry about that in a few months' time or anything like that? Is there anything you want to work on in particular going forward?
We actually had ours in our celebration week, so it was bad timing, tell you that. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of a shift for me because my focus has always been getting fitter, because I've never been very fit. Like that wasn't my strength. When I came to North, it was my footy IQ and the fact that I was a footy player first and foremost. I just had to learn the athlete part. So I've sort of reached a level of fitness where it's like I'm pretty happy with it. In saying that, can always get better and will continue to do that. So I guess just maintain that, but also expect that there might be less returns given that I've been training properly for a couple of years now. And as you train more, it's harder to get returns. So, but obviously just keep maintaining that. It's so hard to think about at this time. I think probably most of the Okay.
Sorry, the cat just came up right in front of the camera. Tess Craven there. Keep going.
I think what I most want to probably work on is stuff when we're back doing skills and things, but it's just that sort of contested stuff. I want to hopefully take some more marks because I do have some sort of aerial skill, but I don't do it very often. So I'd like to do that. I think just continue that like relentless sort of mindset of just contest to contest and physicality. But yeah, probably strength as well, but just overall, just keep ticking all the boxes. Like, don't sit on my laurels just because I had another good year. Like, this is not the ceiling. Still got a long way to go, and I think I'm capable of a lot more. Just as I think the team is capable of more as well. So none of us are going to rest.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're still only 22 years old, so you're only going to get smarter as you get older. You'd be surprised. Like, I know you sort of think, I feel like I know the game pretty well, but you do get smarter as you get older, and you know where the pattern. It's funny, like even Wayne Carey used to say, I always knew towards the end of my career where the ball was going to bounce and things like that. Like he just knew where to go, and he became a lot smarter. And he said that went a lot way. Obviously, luck plays a part in it, but yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, we had the draft on last Monday night, I believe. We got the girl we wanted in Western Turner, Shauna McGalligan, I think her name is, and Vicky Wall's sister, Sarah, as well. What can you tell us about those girls, if anything at all? And is Sarah Wall as scary as her sister?
Well, I unfortunately can't speak for Shauna or for Sarah because I haven't met either of them yet. But yeah, Westo, yeah, I had the privilege of I've met Westo and chatted, and lovely girl. By all accounts, she sounds like she just wants to crack in with us and give it her all. And we actually share a manager, so
Beautiful.
yeah, I've heard how keen she was to get here, and now that she's here, I'm really excited to see what she can do. Obviously, immense talent, being number 1 draft pick a couple of years ago. And I think North is a place where we can really foster talent and develop players into, like, for example, like Liza Shannon, like we got her for a bag of chips and now she's a premiership player. Like Tessa Boyd wasn't on a list and now she played 10 AFLW games. There's a number of people I could mention that who weren't like superstars when we picked them up, myself included. But the development environment at the club means that they get the absolute best out of us, and I'm excited to see what that can be for Westo.
Did she mention anything about possibly why she hasn't developed as well as she probably would have as a number 1 pick? I mean, there's a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure with number 1 pick, but I think she only played 1 game this year, 7 a year before, 8 total career games. Is there any reason why she possibly thinks she hasn't developed? And I got no doubt the reason she did want to come to the club is because she wants to give herself the best chance of an AFLW career and to develop under good coaches and so forth. But yeah, any explanation there or anything like that?
No, I haven't asked her deep and dark secrets just yet. I'll keep you posted.
No, it sounds good. And I think it is the right environment because you got Kate Sheila. She's definitely a good role model to learn off. And a number of other key forwards like Talia Randall, and you've seen Blahin Bogue, how well she developed in 1 year. So it's definitely a right environment. So it'll be a very exciting time to see how she goes over the next few years. Now, Tess, I think I've held you up long enough. I've asked you a lot of questions, but I will finish with a quiz if you're happy with that. I do this with my co-hosts Claire, Cozzy, and Jacinta each week during the year. It'll be interesting to see how you go. You're happy to go along with this?
Of course, I love a quiz.
All right. So now you mentioned the Irish girls and how they bounce the ball. Now my question is here, who took the most bounces this year from the Irish girls? So there was obviously Vicky Wall, Erica O'Shea, Blahin Bogue, and Amy Gavin Mangan. Do you know who took the most?
Can I have a follow-up question? Does it have to be successful?
I do believe it does have to be successful. Yeah.
Okay. My cat is clawing my couch. Can you not, please?
Trying to concentrate. You're feeling the pressure here, Tess.
It's not letting me do this interview. I don't think Ricky bounces it that much. I feel like she just runs. So I'm not going to say Ricky. I don't think Vicky either. Just by games played, I feel like I have to say Blah. Is it Blah?
Pretty close. It was Amy Gavin Mangan took 6 bounces this year. So
is that more than games she played?
She played 7, I think. So she was late inclusion for about 4 of them. So, Blahin Boak took 3. Vicky Wall took 2, and Erica O'Shea, you're right. She's probably got the best technique out of all of them. She had 1 running.
She runs too fast to do it, though. But
yeah,
I'm actually annoyed about that. I should have got that because I can remember. Damn. All right.
That's all right. So this is going to be a little bit of a player comparison between you and Bella Eddie. So
you did this to me 3 years ago.
I think it was. Yeah, but I feel like a similar sort of player is very highly skilled. So play a similar sort of role. So who had better disposal efficiency between you and Bella Eddie this year?
Oh my God, is he going to talk to you now? I think maybe me.
Yeah, you're right. You had 66.8%, and Bella Eddie 65.7.
Oh, not by much.
No, very close. That's why I pick him. Who kicked more goals in total this year between you and Bella Eddie?
Me.
Yeah, you kicked 6. Bella Eddie kicked 5. So yeah. Who had more contested possessions this year between Bella Eddie and Tess Craven?
Gee, you'd hope it's me because I played more games than her, but I don't know because she played midfield. So
yeah.
I'll go with Bella.
Yeah, geez, 3 from 3. Bella Eddie 68, Tess Craven 63. So yeah, she did play midfield. That did help. All right. So I talked about the Irish girl with the running bounces. Who had more running bounces this year between you two?
Well, I had 1. So.
Are you sure?
Did I not? Wait, shush. Hold on. No, I had 2. Yeah. Sorry. There was 1 against Sydney. There was 1 against Carlton. Oh, gosh. I don't know if Bella had. Is 2 enough to win?
Is that? Are you asking me?
I'm going to go with Bella. I feel like she had more randomly.
No, she had 1 running bounce this year. You did have 2, so
I overthought that.
Yeah. All right. Now we'll go back to normal ones. So outside of Nicole Bresnahan, who led the team in disposal efficiency this season?
Who led the? Oh God.
Because Flash had 100% in the 1 game she played.
Well, right. That's not fair.
I'll give you a hint. It's a defender.
Oh, Ferg.
Yep. Jasmine Ferguson, 84%. So very good. Well, a lot of people go Libby Birch, so I was going to throw you off there. So what about in the grand final? Who had the best disposal efficiency in the game?
Just North?
Yeah. Oh, well, it was the best in the game, and it was a North Melbourne player.
Okay, out of everyone. I'm trying to envision the grand final. Shush, cat. I'm thinking.
Might be giving you an answer. Who knows? So.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Who was it? Can you give me a positional hint, please?
She did play periods of midfield, but in the grand final was played more as a small forward.
Bella.
Yeah, Bella Eddie, 90%. So there you go. Now, Tess, you talk about you want to improve your contested marks this year. You took 45 marks in general this year. Did you take a contested mark? You can't mind giving you an answer there.
Yes.
Yeah, you took 1. So I can't remember who that was.
Yes. That's not true. Because I've seen what they call an uncontested mark, and I think that's pretty. I remember them being pretty contested. Maybe that's just me being a bit soft, but yeah, righto. 1. Oh.
Yeah, I thought you took more than that, to be honest with you as well. I know you went back in the back line a lot of times and spoiled the ball and so forth, and maybe you took a couple of marks in the back half that probably could have been contested marks, but they didn't.
Yeah, they're a bit strict. Righto.
Yeah, a bit harsh, isn't it? So, Yeah, and that's all I have for you, Tess. Now I've taken up a lot of your time. And I really appreciate you coming on. And thanks so much for coming on. Not just me, but the supporters in general. And I'll definitely encourage anyone who has doubts about going to an AFLW game in the future, go to Arden Street and you won't regret it. The way you girls communicate on the boundary, sacrifice for each other, it's something very special. So thank you for bringing so much joy to the supporters these last few seasons, Tess and the team. I cannot forget also that it is your birthday tomorrow. So I feel very honoured that you were able to make the time tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much.
Well, I don't believe in a birthday week, so it is just tomorrow. But I'd like to thank all the supporters as well for supporting us as you guys have for the past couple of years. But I know there's many of them who've been there since the beginning. But yeah, we're the envy of the comp for a number of reasons, and our supporters is one of that for sure. So we're very grateful for everything you guys do for us.
No, I really appreciate that, Tess. It's pretty easy to follow, that's for sure. So yeah, and it's a good experience as well. Going down to Arden Street, it feels like you're really involved in the action. So it's good to look at things. I remember an assistant coach. I went to a best and fairest night 20 odd years ago, and he always said, if you want to see how good a team is, don't watch the football. Watch what they're doing behind the ball, or watch what they're doing when the ball's in the back half and what they're doing in the forward half. So, and you definitely notice that with you girls, and it's a good experience if you do go down Arden Street. You will see that. But Tess, happy birthday for tomorrow. I really appreciate you coming on one last time. And yes, I'll try and chat to you in the pre-season next year when things are flying and everyone's flying.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you to all your listeners as well for tuning in. I'll be back with more AFLW guests possibly in the future. Don't forget, like, subscribe, message Tess Graven, wish her a happy birthday. She needs an ego boost as well. Tell her how great she is. She's too humble. Until then, bye for now and go Roos.